Hello and welcome to my overview, kind of review, everything of to do with the Orcs Codex, and specifically today we're going to talk about the fast attack choices, options that the army has on offer. The fast attack I've just put them here. I've got some Orc Storm Boys, which are a good choice, very mobile, and also some Deff copters, which I think are an incredible choice, given the fact that they can use these their blades as kind of like power claw type weapons, and actually trucks count as fast attack as well. So we're going to look in the book and we're going to see what other fast attack options there are, and we're going to talk about them compared to the previous editions. So first of all, you'll notice that the first kind of option that you have is the Orc truck. It's very cheap points, it's got no armour, but it does have this new ramshackle rule. You can kit it out with a rocket launcher for free. Very cheap way of transporting up to 12 models around the board, so it's a great way of transporting your burner boys or your tank busters or orc knobs, whatever. However, you just always need to think that it's so cheap that the armour's terrible. So it's up to you. If you've invested quite a couple of hundred points in a mob or squad, you might well go for the battle wagon version. However, the downside of that is it is taking up a heavy support choice, and normally with orcs you might not use any fast attack, so that's something to bear in mind. In the old codex, truck wasn't a fast attack, it was just a dedicated transport vehicle, so that's good in a way that you can have trucks as dedicated transport for your orc mobs, but also you can have them as fast attack, just on their own really. The next choice is the Orc Storm Boys. Now you've just seen my Orc Storm Boys. There aren't that many that I have. I think I've got about 8. I'd love a good squad of 15 or 20, even something like that. I think that would be really effective. However, they're gonna reduce their effectiveness if it's a large mob and they're moving fast, especially if there's a lot of terrain and things. Points wise though, the Orc truck is actually less points now, and the Storm Boys are less as well. They've come down a lot less actually. I think they're less by about 3 points per model. Stats wise though, they are exactly the same. Again, it's up to you, but you can have one upgraded to a knob, and he can obviously take all the other weapons and things that you would normally have. He can't take heavy armour anymore. He can take a boss pod, but he can't take heavy armour, which is it's a bit strange, but there we go. You can have 25 additional Storm Boys now, so if the squad is 5 you can have 30 now, whereas before you could only have 5 to 20. So they've upped that, which is great, and as I said before, points is now cheaper for them, so there's no excuse, and they're quite effective actually, as just kind of hit and run. So that's that. We move on to Deff copters, which are incredible. Again, they've gone down in price as well, cost wise. They're cheaper, and their stats are the same really. The unit composition is 1, and you can have an additional 4, so that hasn't changed. You've got the same kind of rules going on, the scout rule, things like that. You can change it to, again, you've got the same options, big bomb or buzzsaw. I always take the buzzsaws because that's going to be really effective in close combat, and they're super fast that you can get them in combat. I'd love GW to bring out these as like a, I don't know, squad of 3 or something like that in a box set, or even squad of 5, but I think 3 would be the sweet spot there. And if they brought out 3 of these for 25 quid, 25-30 quid, I think that would be a job well done. They're excellent models, really easy to assemble, and I don't see why GW haven't actually brought out those models, because in a way they've kind of got the part of the molds anyway, haven't they? And instead you're stuck with these kind of like, I think they're either fine cast or metal. I think they're fine cast now. these Deff copter models, and they just look really archaic and Warhammer Fantasy-ish. They don't look anywhere near as uber cool as these ones. But there you go. That's their choice. So Deff copters are awesome, kind of fast attack, and I think other players they just underestimate them because they think, oh, there's some choppers there, they're not that good, but actually they've got a decent save, 2 wounds, they're high toughness, you know, they've got hit and run, they can cause a lot of damage if you have them in like a squad of 5, a unit of 5 or something like that. But 3 is kind of the bare minimum you'd go with, but still 3, that's 6 wounds, so that's still quite good. Anyway, that's Deff copters, and then if you go out and buy their Orc Flyer, which is like the Dakar jet, you can make 3 different flyers out of it. In the old codex, they didn't have that at all. They didn't have a flyer, so that's an excellent addition. I think they need it. I think their flyers are a bit poor. They've got these super shooters, which aren't really amazing. You can have additional super shooters and things like that, but they're just missing like missiles and rockets and better armour. Just armour 10 is just not amazing, and their ballistic skill is quite terrible, and they're not that cheap actually, so you might be worth investing points and money into other things. But you can get the Dakar jet, you can get the burner bomber, which has got burner bombs on, which is quite good I suppose. Again, these aren't that cheap, talking about 100 point mark, and then you get the blitz bomber, which has got the boom bombs, which are quite decent actually. So they're the 3 flyers. I don't think that they're amazing at all. You can't get, I mean, you can get scorch missiles for the burner bomber, but you can't take any missiles or rockets, I don't think, for the other one, which is a shame because all you've got is just shooters really, or super shooters, and you can't take any kind of missile type things for the blitz bomber. Anyway, that's the flying section. You then got the war bikes, which have always been very decent. The war bikers, compared to the old rules, they're actually, the points for them, they've actually gone down in points by a good 7 points per model, which is excellent. They've got the same kind of stats. Obviously, they've changed it so that the boss knob has got 2 wounds, which wasn't which was different from the other stats that they had. 3 to 12 on the old, and you can have an additional 12. So you can now have 15 war bikers, and they're not that expensive really. But you get in the high toughness, the save, all the rest of those kind of things. So they can be a good choice. I mean, they've got the sluggers and choppers, and the actual bike itself is quite decent. So that's war bikers. War buggies, they haven't changed an awful lot. They're cheaper now though. You get 1 to 3, and you can have an additional 4, so you can have 5 now instead of 3, which is pretty decent. They're super cheap. I just wish they'd upgrade the model to have like full size orcs, and just upgrade the model anyway, because it's looking very retro. I mean, it's got the old orcs from must be 20 years ago now. We've had different orcs for over 15 years now, so this model is what, 20 years old at least. So I just wish that they would change them. They've now got the hull points, whereas in the previous edition they didn't. You can get a war buggy, a scorcher, or a war track, so that adds a few things. They can't carry any people or anything like that. They're fast open top vehicles. They're just cheap things to fill up your fast attack, and they're probably one of the worst ones in my opinion. I mean, other people may have uses for them because of their armour being, only 1 less than a rhino, which, if you look at it, you think, how is that possible? But anyway, that's a fast attack choice. That's just the overview of the fast attack really. Looking at the old codex as well. I think it's quite a strong fast attack selection. I mean, you've got your trucks, so you can have more and more trucks if you want. You've got storm boys, which give you kind of like assault troops. Your Deff copters, which is kind of like your land speeders in a way. I mean, they don't have armour, but they're kind of like your pimped out war bikes. I like the fact that you got your bikes still in there. I'm not too sure of the war buggies or war tracks. And you've got your flyers. I mean, I would like to see other flying things, but like some kind of flying barge, you know, or some kind of flying balloon or something like that. Which I'm sure that they would have. I've seen plenty of fluff where there are, you know, flying, slow-moving things that could be like pirate kind of ships just floating that would have shooters on either side and have bombs on the undercarriage. But hey, you know, that's just my imagination running wild there. So I think it's an okay amount of fast attack. I don't think it's as strong as their elite section, which have the knobs, the commandos, and the mega knobs, the burners, and the tank busters. So I don't think it is as strong. But you know, there are things there if you want to flank, you know, armies. I mean, obviously this army isn't really for fast, hard-hitting attack, high armor, high weaponry army, is it? It's you know, they've got some things to get them into the battle quickly, but they're not like hard-hitting kind of assault troops or anything like that, are they? So yeah, so that's the fast attack. Join me in the next video where I talk about the best section in the whole of the book, which is heavy support.